Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Off the Board. So today I went to my reading nook ideas because I have a dream of having a reading nook in my house one day. Probably less like this one, more like one of the ones with all the books around it, but I like this picture, right? Like I just like it. It appeals to me. So I pulled things out of it. This picture has a striped pillow. I pulled out a striped paper. It's got a pink blanket. I pulled out a pink paper. It's got things that are framed. I pulled out things that are framed. It's got some greenery. I pulled in some flowers. It's got natural colors. I pulled in natural color things. This is a metal rimmed table. I pulled in some metal. I mean, I literally went literal, right? So anyway, this is the reading nook pen that I'm using. I've got my supplies, my photos, and of course the rest of my never-ending kit because, you know, I can't just use these supplies, but all of these did come from the never-ending kit. So let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I'm going to use this striped paper as kind of a resting point for my photos. And I'm doing that because I have a portrait and a landscape photo. Not my favorite thing to scrapbook, let's be real. If I have multiple photos that are in the same orientation, it's a lot easier to scrapbook those, right? Like it just kind of flows. But this is something similar to what I do a lot when I have two different orientation photos. It is mixed up a little bit, but I think that that's the beauty of it. When you find a layout that will work if you have two different orientation photos, keep making that layout and just do a couple different things on it or one different thing, and then that way you don't feel like you're making the same exact layout every single time. So these photos are about the wardens at Alcatraz. Okay, so there is a photo of, there's like a big poster that was on there that I took a photograph of that, and then there are photographs of the wardens, and it's the warden and his signature and the dates that he was actually the warden. I can't read it. I could look it up and write it down, but honestly, it's not that important to me, their names, right? It's just important to me that, that this is like a little bit of a story about the wardens. Now, I did decide to bring in some of this lace trim because, again, that photo that I'm taking inspiration from had fluffy things, fabricy things, so there is that. Now I am going to be using the AM and PM wood veneers finally because I've pulled them out multiple times without any success of actually using them on this layout. Spoiler alert, you guys, it actually makes it on the layout. So I have these two small tags and I'm going to tuck them into this book plate, and then I'm trying to find a place to put that yellow sticker. I thought it was going to go down here on the bottom. It does not. It doesn't. I end up doing something with it, so at least part of it gets on the layout, but it does not, it's not like the best choice of a place when I originally put that down. I go in and I dig through my embellishments here, and I'm actually going to be using some silver square embellishments, and I'm going to put those through my book plate holes. And do I really care that normally I would put a circular embellishment through that bad boy? No, I don't. I turn it so that it looks like a diamond instead of a square, and I'm thinking this is basically utterly fabulous now. So I am happy with what I've got going on there. And now, of course, we need to put some twine into our tag holes because we can't have a naked tag hole, right? It's just not going to work. And while I am going to tie up those bows and dollop the glue and put them onto the tag, I will read you what it says about the wardens. The wardens were responsible for The wardens were responsible for setting the disciplinary and administrative tone for the prison. Using guidelines established by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, each of the 4 Alcatraz wardens developed distinctly different operating procedures that reflected their professional beliefs and society's expectations of incarceration. In the early years of Alcatraz, the main goal was to remove incorrigibles from society. In later years, the American public insisted that prisoners rehabilitate offenders and return them to the community as productive members of society. Now, some of these bad boys in Alcatraz, I don't think we're ever going to get rehabilitated, right? Especially the guys that performed the escape and like what happened to them. I think I've heard that 2 of them ended up in the brothers ended up in South America somewhere, and they found the body of the other dude. I think, maybe. It's kind of all blurring together. We looked into it after we went to Alcatraz, but honestly, Alcatraz trivia is not something that I made space for in this brain, right? Like, that's not something that stays with me, okay? Just like movie plots. I can watch a movie and a couple months later I'll be like, yeah, I watched that movie, but I can't tell you the plot of it. There isn't space in my brain for that stuff. I have more important things to remember, like every single classmate in my kindergarten class. Right? Like, I don't know. It's funny how your brain works, right? So anyway, I am going to layer up these florals, and these florals are pretty much in a straight vertical line down the page. Again, not something I normally do. For this type of layout, if I have 1 vertical photo and 1 horizontal photo, what I usually do is put the embellishment on a diagonal, right? Usually at the join of the photos, and then one is going to be on the opposite side. But this time I did straight up and down. And I like it, actually, right? Like, I'm digging the look. So I am going to tuck some things in. I wanted to get a little bit more, a bit of circles on here, because I have the AM and PM. The florals are semi-circular, right? And I want to be able to add more circles on here. I'm just kind of figuring out where I want the wood veneer stars to go, because, you know, I feel like that needs to be on there. And for no other reason than I just really wanted stars on this layout, right? Like, you could take this layout and switch out the photos, and it could be a romantical layout. It could be a layout about kids. Like, it could be a whole bunch of different things. And I think that is what I'm getting the joy out of scrapbooking these Alcatraz photos, with things that you might normally go, oh, that really? That's what you're using to scrapbook about jail? Anyway, I'm getting joy from my scrapbooking right now, and honestly, you guys, that is what matters, right? Like, I'm loving it. So I go ahead, I'm going to use my Nouveau Deluxe to get my wood veneer stars down on the page. That star does not stay there. It ends up being moved because, you know, I wasn't really thinking about the title and how much space it was going to need. But that's okay. And hopefully the AM and PM will understand once the title actually gets there on the layout. I am going to see if I need to add anything else with these sticker sheets. I end up adding this little blue circular sticker. It just adds just this tiny, tiny little pop of color there. And then you can see I took that yellow sticker and went ahead and cut it into a banner. And I still have half of the yellow sticker and half of that khaki colored banner as well. I am going to add in these 2 green fake brads because I think that they're pretty and I think that they look good with the star, right? Like, do you need a drawn out thought process of why you add something to the scrapbook page? No, I feel like So many scrapbook videos could be quick and easy, done and over with, like snap like that. If you just say, I like it, so I put it on the page, right? Like, there it is. So I've got this going on. Now I am going to bring in letter stickers, and my title is going to be Always Watching. And yes, I say it in my head in Roz's voice from Monsters, Inc. So I've got that always watching in my mind, right? So there is that. I don't know. How is that impression? You know, you hear your own voice differently than what your voice sounds like, and that is evident if you obviously hear your own self speaking, and then you go back to your voiceovers and you start to hear it and you're like, oh, that's a little bit different than what I hear in my head. So anyway, I am going to Frankenstein the letters to make them work. Good thing is I don't have to do a lot of Frankensteining to make these letters work, but it does say watching, and then I'm going to go ahead and find another letter sticker to use in place. Now I have a lot of numbers left from these multiple packages of those white thickers, right? And I saw both, I think Crystal and MK did very similar techniques with using letter stickers as part of their background. And it's definitely something I have done in the past as well. Sometimes I've painted over them, sometimes I've used multiple colors, sometimes, you know, I've used different styles, sets, all kinds of things. And I think that seeing them create those two layouts recently, I definitely want to get in on that, because it's been a hot minute since I've done a layout like that. And I think I'm going to do that with those numbers. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do it with yet. Obviously, it'll be a milestone number layout. I don't know if that's going to be an odometer layout or a subscriber count layout, or any other kind of weird number thing that I've taken a picture of. I haven't figured that out yet, but I do want to do that. So anyway, there we go. I added a couple more little bits on there because, you know, why not? And then that is going to do it for this layout. You guys be sure to check out the Off the Board with Pineapple Papers 24 playlist. And then, yeah, hope you are using this time to look at your Pinterest boards as well and get some inspiration and do all the things. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.